Outpost 9 sat quietly on the edge of human space, a small colony surrounded by endless gray rocks and cold wind. The sky above was always cloudy, and the sun barely reached the ground. Life here was hard. People worked in mines all day, and many got sick or injured. But there was one place where hope still lived, the clinic. The clinic was not big, but it was always full. People came in with broken arms, fever, deep cuts, and breathing problems caused by the dusty air. In the middle of all the chaos was Lena, a young nurse with kind eyes and soft hands. She had come from Earth 2 years ago to help colonies far away. Many others gave up and left, but Lena stayed. She believed even small actions could bring change. Lena lived in a small room next to the clinic. She worked long hours, slept little, and spent her breaks fixing old machines. The medical tools were outdated, and power went out often, but Lena never complained. She treated every patient with care, whether it was a miner, a farmer, or a child. One cold evening, as she cleaned the last bed and prepared to lock the door, a man walked in. He was tall, thin, and wrapped in a torn gray coat. His boots were covered in dust. His face was hidden behind a dirty scarf. I need help," he said softly, almost like a whisper. Lena looked up. His voice was rough, like he hadn't spoken much in a long time. She noticed his hands were shaking, and his skin was pale. "Come in," she said gently, guiding him to a chair. "You're safe here." The man sat down slowly. Lena checked his pulse, looked at his eyes, and gave him some water. He didn't speak much, only answering in short sentences. "What's your name?" she asked. "Tarn," he said after a pause. "Tarn, all right. How long have you been out there?" He didn't answer. His eyes looked tired, not just from walking, but from something deeper. Like he had carried a heavy weight for years. Word spread quickly around the colony. "The beggar came to the clinic," they said. "That star-lost man again." Tarn had been seen before, wandering the outer zones. He never asked for food or money, but he lived alone in the old ruins left from the first settlers. Most people ignored him. Some laughed at him, others feared him. He didn't fit in. He spoke like someone from a different time, but Lena didn't care about those rumors. Over the next few days, Tarn came back. Sometimes he helped clean the clinic. Sometimes he just sat in silence while Lena worked. He never caused trouble. He was quiet, polite, and always left before nightfall. "Why do you help me?" he asked one day. Lena looked up from her notes. "Because you need it. No one else cares." "I do," she replied simply. As time passed, Tarn opened up a little more. He told her about the stars, not just from stories, but with details. That sounded real. He spoke of old ships, lost missions, and forgotten codes. Lena thought he must have been an engineer once, maybe part of a crew that crashed long ago. "You know a lot," she said once. "I remember things," he replied. Some evenings they sat outside after the clinic closed. The cold wind blew gently, and the stars peeked through the clouds. Lena enjoyed those quiet moments. There was something calm about Tarn, even if his past was a mystery. But not everyone was happy. The head doctor, a stern man named Kellen, warned Lena, "Be careful with that man," he said. "He has no ID, no records. He could be dangerous." "He's never hurt anyone," Lena replied. "Still, it's not normal. Don't get involved." But it was too late. Weeks later, Lena missed her monthly checkup. She ran a test in the clinic's lab. The results were clear. She was pregnant. She sat down slowly, staring at the screen. Her hands shook, but not from fear, from surprise. She had shared something personal with Tarn, a decision made in quiet trust. She had believed in him when no one else did. When the news spread, the outpost turned cold. People whispered behind her back. Some laughed openly. "She's carrying a beggar's child. She threw away her future. What a shame." Even Kellen shook his head. You were a good nurse, Lena. But now? You've made a mistake. Lena didn't reply. She kept working, even as the whispers followed her everywhere. Tarn, too, stayed quiet. He stopped coming to the clinic. Some said he left. Others claimed he ran away, but Lena believed otherwise. She placed her hand on her stomach one morning and whispered, "They don't understand you or your father, but I do." Outside, the sky darkened as storm clouds rolled in. A strange silence filled the air, as if the stars themselves were watching, waiting. Something was coming, something no one in the outpost was ready for. The storm above tore across the skies like a giant wave of dark light. From inside the hidden vault, Lena could see flashes through a small round window near the ceiling. Strange purple lightning twisting across the clouds, moving in slow circles like it was searching. She sat close to the wall, her hand resting gently on her belly. The baby kicked softly, as if sensing the danger outside. Tarn stood near the center of the chamber, his fingers dancing across a glowing console. The machine answered him with soft chimes and moving lights. It didn't look like anything Lena had ever seen. It didn't look human. "Tarn," she asked, her voice calm but curious, "what is this place really?" He turned, his eyes serious, but gentle. "It's called a vault station. A shelter built long ago, by humans, yes, but not from this age." "Not from your Earth," Lena frowned. "You said you were part of them. Part of who?" Tarn walked over and sat beside her. 100 years ago, during the first expansion age, humans reached farther than ever before. We built starships that could bend time. We explored beyond the charts. My crew was one of the first to leave known space." Lena listened closely. His voice was steady, but she saw pain in his eyes. "We found things we didn't understand, ancient systems, lost ruins, signals from nowhere. Then, during one mission, something happened. A gate we were testing collapsed. It pulled us into a rift. Time broke around us." He paused. "For me, only a few months passed. But when I returned, 100 years had gone by." Lena stayed quiet. She didn't ask more. She just waited. Tarn continued. "I crashed here. My ship was broken. My memory was damaged. I wandered, not knowing who I was. People saw me as a beggar. But I remembered little pieces, machines, stars, codes." "You were lost," Lena said gently. He nodded. "Until I met you." They sat together in silence for a moment. The vault lights hummed softly, creating a peaceful glow. Then the console near Tarn gave a loud sound, a rising tone followed by a sharp pulse. Tarn stood quickly. "The outer field is active. The storm has reached the colony." Lena stood, too, holding her stomach as another kick came. "Will they be okay? The others?" Tarn hesitated. "The upper levels will be damaged. If the storm lasts too long, the shelter might not hold. I didn't have time to repair the old barriers there." "Can't we help?" she asked. He looked at her. "Yes, but it's risky. We'd have to open the vault." Before he could say more, the console changed. A symbol flashed on the screen. Red and pulsing. "What is it?" Lena asked. Tarn stared at it for a moment. "Someone's alive. Someone's sending a signal." "From the medical center." Lena's heart jumped. "It could be Mari or Dr. Kellen." He nodded. "They're trapped, but their beacon is working. I can follow it." "Then we have to go," she said without thinking. Tarn turned toward her. "Lena, it's dangerous out there. The storm isn't just energy. It plays with time and memory. You could get lost or worse." "I'm not staying," Lena said firmly. "Not while someone's out there waiting for help." Tarn looked at her for a long moment, then gave a small smile. "That's why I trust you." They prepared quickly. Tarn activated a shield suit for Lena, light but strong. It covered her body in thin armor and kept her safe from the strange winds. He wore one too, darker and older, but still working. As they left the vault, the hidden door sealed behind them. Outside, the world was different. The colony was almost unrecognizable. Buildings were covered in glowing mist. The wind moved sideways. Colors shifted in the sky. Lights blinked in patterns that made no sense. It was like walking through a dream or a memory gone wrong. Tarn led the way, using a small device that blinked with a green light. "This way," he said. "The signal is weak, but it's real." As they moved through the broken streets, Lena saw strange things: tools floating in midair, rocks that changed shape, shadows that didn't match the light. She gripped Tarn's hand tightly. Finally, they reached the clinic, or what was left of it. The walls were cracked, the roof was half gone. But the basement door was still standing, protected by emergency steel. Tarn scanned the area. "The signal comes from below." He pulled open the hatch, and they climbed down into the dark. Inside, the air was thick and heavy. Emergency lights flickered. A few bodies lay still near the walls, patients who didn't survive the collapse. But from behind a pile of broken shelves, they heard a cough. "Help!" Lena rushed forward. "Mari!" It was her. The young assistant sat against the wall, holding a child close to her chest, a small boy from one of the minor families. Both were alive, but barely. Tarn moved fast. He activated a small pod, placing it near Mari and the child. A blue field formed around them, feeding oxygen and warmth. "Can they walk?" Lena asked. "Not far," Tarn said. "We'll carry them." He lifted Mari gently, while Lena wrapped the child in her coat. Together, they climbed back through the storm. Each step felt heavier. The winds whispered things, voices from the past or from nowhere. Lena heard her name spoken in her mother's voice, even though her mother was light years away. But she kept walking. Finally, the vault appeared ahead. The door opened as they neared, recognizing Tarn's signal. Inside, it was calm again, warm, bright. Lena set the child down. Tarn laid Mari near a glowing wall that began scanning her wounds. "She would live. You did it," Lena said, turning to Tarn. He looked at her, tired but smiling. "No, we did it." She smiled back. Then suddenly, she gasped. Her hands flew to her stomach. Tarn rushed forward. "What is it?" She looked at him with wide eyes. "It's time," she whispered. Outside, the void storm began to fade, its strange colors pulling back into the sky. Inside the vault, a new life was about to begin, one born not of shame, not of fear, but of hope. And from this child, a new story would rise. Years passed slowly on Solora, the peaceful green planet gifted to Tarn and Lena by the Accord. Time flowed like the quiet river near their home, and the winds carried the songs of birds across hills and valleys. Rian, the child once born under the storm, was now 10 years old. He was not like other children. He could read faster than adults. He remembered everything. He understood machines the same way others understood stories. And yet he was gentle, kind, and full of questions. Why do trees breathe? He asked his mother one morning while watering the garden. They breathe. Like we do, Lena answered, smiling. But they give us the air we need. That's why we take care of them. He nodded. Then trees are like quiet heroes. Yes, she said. Just like your father. Tarn was nearby, working on a floating sensor. He glanced at his son and smiled. Rian didn't know everything about his past, not yet. He didn't know about the vault, the storm, or the strange symbols that glowed in his eyes when he touched certain machines. His parents wanted him to grow like any other child, with love, play, and freedom. But the universe had not forgotten him. One evening, Rian stood at the top of a hill, staring at the stars. He had a small notebook where he often drew the sky. But this time, he saw something different. A light, moving, not like a star. He ran back home and called out, "Papa, something's coming." Tarn stepped outside, scanned the sky, and saw it too. A small ship, entering Silora's upper sky. Not an attack ship, not a military drone. Something else. The next day, a visitor arrived. She came alone in a small silver craft. Her name was Yali, a scientist from the Accord. She had been one of the first to study the vault's data after Tarn reconnected with the council. Tarn met her outside the house. Lena and Rian stood behind him. I didn't ask for visitors, Tarn said, though his voice was calm. I know, Yali replied. I came with respect, not orders. What do you want? Lena asked, stepping forward. Yali looked at Rian. We've detected unusual signals. Across the colonies, deep in uncharted systems, strange messages, and they all use the same pattern. One that matches your son's brainwaves. Tarn's eyes narrowed. Are you saying someone or something is trying to contact him? Yali nodded. Not just contact. Call him. Rian looked up at his parents. Why me? Tarn knelt down beside his son. Because you are part of something old, Rian. Something powerful. You carry knowledge passed through time. You were born in the heart of the vault. And now, something out there has noticed. Lena placed her hand on Rian's shoulder. But you don't have to go anywhere. You are still a child. Yali stepped back. I understand. I won't force anything. But if he ever wants answers, there's a place, a station near the edge of known space. We've kept it secret. Inside, it is a map older than Earth itself. We believe it holds the path to the signal source. She left a small device, shaped like a cube, then bowed and returned to her ship. As the craft disappeared into the sky, silence returned to Silora, but things would not stay quiet for long. That night, Rian couldn't sleep. He sat by the window, the cube resting in his lap. It glowed softly, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. He touched it gently, and a light flickered. A voice, not quite human, spoke. Child of light, come home. He didn't understand it, but he felt no fear, only curiosity. Days later, Tarn and Lena spoke quietly in the garden. He's too young, Lena said. He doesn't even know what he is. He knows enough, Tarn replied. And he's stronger than we think. Lena looked up at the sky. What if we lose him? Tarn reached for her hand. Then we'll find him, together. One morning, Rian came to them holding the cube. I want to go, he said softly. Not to leave you, just to understand who I am. Lena hugged him tightly. Promise me something. What? No matter what you learn, no matter where you go, remember who you are, Rian smiled. I'm your son. Tarn stepped forward and placed a hand on Rian's shoulder. Then it's time. The Accord sent a ship, sleek, fast, and guided by starlight. It came with no weapons, only books, tools, and messages from worlds far away. Rian climbed aboard with a small bag and the glowing cube in his hand. Tarn gave him a device filled with memories, pictures, recordings, and stories. Lena gave him a necklace made of stone from Silora's river. We'll see you again, Tarn said. I know, Rian replied, looking out the window. I'll follow the stars, but they'll always lead me back to you. As the ship rose into the sky, Lena wiped her tears. Tarn stood still, watching the sky grow quiet again. He's just a child, she whispered. Yes, Tarn said, a child of two worlds. A child born from love and mystery. A child who might one day change the fate of galaxies. The days after Lena's news spread were heavy with silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that followed her wherever she went. In the narrow halls of the clinic, in the food line at the mess hall, even when she walked to the water pump, people stared. Some only whispered. Others didn't bother hiding their laughter. She's having a beggar's child. A miner chuckled to his friend. She should have picked someone better, another said. She could have had a real future. But Lena said nothing. She held her head high, continued to treat her patients, and tried to ignore the voices. But deep inside, Her heart ached. Not because of shame, but because Tarn was gone. After the day she told him about the baby, he disappeared. She had waited at the clinic, watched the paths from the edge of the colony, even walked toward the ruins where he had once stayed. But he was nowhere. Some said he ran away. Others said he never existed, that Lena made it all up. But she knew better. She remembered the way Tarn looked at the stars when he thought no one was watching. She remembered his hands fixing broken machines like he had done it 1,000 times before. He was not just some beggar. He was someone important. Someone different. One night, as Lena sat by the window of her small room, rubbing her growing belly, a knock came at her door. It was Mari, a young assistant at the clinic. She held out a bag of warm food. "I brought this for you," she said quietly. "I thought you might be hungry." Lena smiled softly. "Thank you." Mari sat down on the floor, looking nervous. "I don't believe what they say," she whispered. "About you, or the man." Lena looked at her. "Why not?" "Because when he came, the clinic machine started working better. The lights stopped blinking. The old scanner worked again. Nobody fixed them. But after he left, they went back to being slow and broken." Lena nodded slowly. "He was smart. More than he let anyone see." Mari leaned closer. "Do you think he was from Earth?" "I don't think so," Lena said. "At least, not the Earth we know." A week later, the sky changed. It started with a low hum, almost like music, but too deep for normal ears. The air felt thick. The lights in the clinic flickered without warning. Miners said their tools were behaving strangely. Radios picked up strange static patterns. Then came the alert. "Void storm approaching, on Outpost 9. That warning was rare and terrifying. A void storm was not a normal storm. It came from deep space, from places where science didn't work right. Some said it was made of dark energy. Others believed it was alive. All the same, it destroyed everything in its path. People panicked. The colony had basic defenses, energy shields, underground shelters, but none were strong enough for a full void storm. Lena was called to the command building to assist with medical prep. Kellen, the head doctor, spoke quickly. "The storm will hit in less than 6 hours. We're evacuating the top level. We need all hands to help move supplies and patients below." Lena nodded, her heart racing. But inside, she knew something the others didn't. The colony wasn't ready. Not for this. Later that night, the winds howled. A strange blue light covered the horizon, crackling like lightning but silent. As she helped move the last patient below, someone grabbed her hand. "Lena," a voice whispered. She turned. It was Tarn. He looked stronger than before. His coat was clean, his eyes clear. He wore a strange metallic band on his wrist. "You came back," she breathed. He nodded. "We have to leave, now." She looked around. "I can't leave the others. The storm, this shelter won't." "Hold," he said. "There's a place, underground, deep under the old ruins. You and the baby will be safe." Lena paused. "What about the others?" "I don't know if I can save everyone," Tarn said. "But I can protect you, please." Lena looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. "I trust you." They ran through the wind and strange lights, past broken fences and empty streets. The air buzzed with electricity. The storm was close now. The ground shook. Tarn led her to the edge of the colony, to a pile of rocks that once marked a failed building site. He placed his hand on a stone, and suddenly the ground shifted. A hidden door opened, revealing metal stairs going deep below. Lena stared in shock. "This place," she whispered. "It's not human, is it?" Tarn looked at her. "It's older than this colony, older than most of the stars we know." They stepped inside, and the door closed behind them. Lights turned on, soft white lights from the walls. The air inside was warm, clean, and quiet. Lena felt her fear melt away. They Walked down a long hallway made of smooth silver walls. Symbols Lena didn't understand glowed faintly. At the end was a chamber, round, with a tall machine in the center. Tarn touched the machine, and it came to life. Holograms danced around them. Charts, star maps, energy readings. Lena looked at him. What is this place? A vault, Tarn said. Left by explorers long before this outpost was built. I was part of them. Once, she stared at him. So, the stories. The whispers. They weren't wrong. Tarn nodded. I got lost in time. I came back broken. I forgot who I was. But you reminded me. The machine gave a soft tone. A new shield formed around the chamber, strong, invisible, but powerful. The storm can't touch us here, Tarn said quietly. You and the baby are safe. Lena sat down slowly, her hands resting on her belly. Outside, the sky turned dark purple, and the storm swallowed the colony. But deep below, in the heart of the vault, new hope had begun to grow. The ship carrying Rian moved through deep space, leaving behind the quiet world of Solora and the peaceful life his parents had built. He sat near a wide window, staring at the stars that filled the darkness. Each one twinkled like a distant memory, a small piece of something bigger. He missed his mother's soft voice and his father's steady hands. But he wasn't afraid. The cube rested in his lap, glowing gently, guiding him towards something waiting beyond known space, something calling only to him. After many weeks, the ship reached a strange location at the edge of the galaxy. There, floating in silence, was an ancient structure, large, round, and shining with soft gold light. It looked like it had been built before time had a name. Rian stepped off the ship. His heart calmed. The place was called the Beacon. It welcomed him without words. The cube he carried floated from his hands, flew into the air, and merged with the light around him. Symbols appeared in the air, old symbols that no one on Earth could read, but Rian understood them like they were written in his own thoughts. Welcome, Lightbearer. He walked into the heart of the beacon, where a large round room waited. At the center stood a tall pillar of energy, showing images, star maps, lost ships, galaxies once visited by ancient explorers, and among them, faces. Human faces, some of them were marked like Tarn. Rian stepped forward. The beacon spoke again, though not with sound. It used light, emotion, and memory. You are the bridge between the past and what comes next. You were born in the storm, and through you, humanity may rise again, stronger, wiser, kinder. Rian placed his hand on the pillar. A shock of light ran through the room, not painful, but full of warmth. Around the galaxy, old systems woke up. Lost stations blinked again. Forgotten beacons lit their lights. Across human space, scientists, workers, and leaders paused as strange energy readings appeared on their screens. They all said the same thing. The architect line has returned. Back on Solora, Lena was planting herbs in the garden when the sky shimmered. A soft light floated down like a feather dot. It was a message. She ran inside and called for Tarn, who was working in the back room. Together, they watched the light take shape. Rian's face appeared, glowing and calm. Mother, Father, I found the place. I found where I come from. Tears filled Lena's eyes. I am safe. I'm learning. The beacon is teaching me things no one remembers. And I'm not alone. Others like me are out there, hidden, waiting, scared to show the world who they are. But now they're waking up. Rian's image grew brighter. I will return, but not just as your child. I will return as someone who can help. Tarn stood still, proud and quiet. He's becoming what he was meant to be, he whispered. Lena nodded. But still our son. 2 years later, a new starship entered the skies of Sel-Ora. It was unlike any other, not from the Accord, not from old Earth, not from any known fleet. Its design was smooth and silver, with glowing blue lights and gentle curves that looked like wind carved into metal dot. It landed softly near the river. A door opened, and out stepped Rian, now 12. He was taller, with eyes that seemed to see more than the world showed. He ran toward his parents, and they embraced him tightly. "I missed you every day," Lena said through tears. "I always heard your voice," Rian whispered. Tarn smiled. "You're home." Rian looked at them. "Not for long. I came to ask something important." They waited. There are places still broken, colonies left behind, people suffering in silence. "I want to help rebuild. Not with ships or weapons, but with knowledge, with peace." "You want to lead?" Tarn asked. "No," Rian said. "I want a guide," Lena smiled. "Then we'll help you." Within a year, Rian's name spread across human space. He visited the oldest planets and the smallest outposts. He fixed broken machines, solved energy problems, and taught people how to grow food in dead soil. He never acted like a king or ruler. He ate with the workers, listened to the poor, and played with the children. People called him the Lightburn, not because of power, but because of the light he brought wherever he went. The accord changed. 2. Instead of controlling from above, they began learning from below. Leaders stepped aside. Teachers stepped forward. Peace began to grow, not through force, but through understanding. And at the center of it all was a boy once laughed at before he was even born. One day, many years later, Lena and Tarn sat together outside their home on Solora. They were older now. Their hair had silver in it, but their eyes were full of peace. The sun was setting. A soft wind moved through the trees, and far in the sky, the stars began to glow. "He's up there right now," Lena said softly, "helping someone, making things better." Tarn nodded. "He always was different." "No," Lena replied. "He was always human, just more than anyone expected." Tarn took her hand. "It all began with kindness, yours." She smiled. "And with hope, yours." Above them, one star blinked brighter than the others, and far across space, Rian stood on another world, teaching children how to build light towers. His voice was calm, his heart steady. A girl asked, "Were you really born in a storm?" Rian smiled. "Yes, but the storm didn't make me strong. My family did." The Accord starship rose slowly above the ruins of Outpost 9, its engines humming like a quiet song. Lena stood near one of the tall windows in the guest chamber, holding her newborn close. She looked down at the broken buildings below. The same colony where people had once laughed at her, whispered behind her back, and called Tarn a beggar. Now everything had changed. The storm was gone. The vault was no longer hidden, and the world had finally seen the truth. Tarn stood beside her, his eyes fixed on the stars outside. He was no longer wearing the torn coat from before. The Accord had given him a sleek dark uniform, the same type, worn by the early explorers from the first expansion. A symbol of golden wings rested on his shoulder, the mark of a star architect. "You don't have to wear that if you don't want to," Lena said gently. Tarn smiled. "I wear it for him." He looked at the baby sleeping in Lena's arms. The child's name was Rian, chosen for its simple sound and quiet strength. The door behind them slid open with a soft hiss. A tall woman in a blue Accord uniform stepped in. Her name was Captain Ellen. She had kind eyes, silver hair tied back, and a voice that was calm but firm. "We're about to enter high orbit," she said. "From there, we'll transfer to the central ring. That's where the council waits." Tarn nodded. "Are they still arguing?" "Of course," Ellen said with a small smile. "Half of them want to honor you. The other half want to understand how you survived and how the child was born inside a dead vault." Lena held Rian closer. "We won't let them take him, right?" "Never," Tarn said. His voice was strong, clear. "He's not a project. He's our son." Ellen stepped forward, holding out a small round disc. "This is your access badge for the council hall. You'll be treated with full rights. No labs, no questions unless you choose to answer." Tarn took the disc and bowed slightly. "Thank you." Before leaving, Ellen turned to Lena. "Your strength saved lives, Nurse Lena. Many in the colony speak of your bravery." Lena gave a quiet smile. "I only did what was right." Ellen nodded, then left. Hours later, the starship approached a massive ring-shaped station orbiting a peaceful blue planet. This was the Central Ring, the capital of the Accord, a place where the most important voices in human space came. Together, the station sparkled with light, covered in glass panels, solar wings, and gardens grown in the sky. As the ship docked, a small group waited at the landing bay. Among them were council members, scientists, historians, and officers. Their eyes watched as the doors opened, and Tarn stepped out with Lena and Rian beside him. Some bowed. Others simply stared. Tarn stood tall. Lena walked proudly at his side, her arm cradling their child. An old man with gray eyes and a golden chain around his neck stepped forward. "I am Counselor Brell," he said. "On behalf of the Accord, we welcome you home, Star Architect Tarn Vilain." "And your family," Tarn nodded. "Thank you, Counselor." "We thought we lost you," Brell said. "But it seems the stars had other plans." "They did," Tarn replied, looking at Lena. Inside the council chamber, Tarn and Lena stood before a large round table. Screens floated above, showing images of the vault, the storm, and scans of the baby. "Rian, we have questions," said one of the counselors. She was tall, serious, and spoke with a clear voice. "How did a forgotten vault awaken after so many years? Why did it respond? To you, Tarn Vilain? And most of all, what is this child?" Lena stepped forward. Her voice was calm. "He's a child, not a test, not a subject. A human child, born during a storm, not because of it." Another counselor leaned forward. "But he has traits we've never seen. His brain activity is years ahead. His DNA holds codes from old Earth and deep space. He could be the future." Tarn's eyes narrowed. "He will choose his own future." A silence filled the room. Counselor Brell raised a hand. "We will not force anything. This child is not here to serve us. But we do believe his birth marks something new. A bridge between the old world and the next one." He looked at Tarn. "We would like to offer you a home. A place of peace, far from the politics, but safe. With resources, with protection." Tarn looked at Lena. She nodded softly. "Then we accept," Tarn said. Counselor Brell smiled. "The world is called Solora. It was once unlivable, but your vault's energy restored its climate. Now it waits for life." Weeks later, a smaller ship landed gently on Solora. It was a beautiful world, soft winds, green hills, and bright skies. The land felt fresh, untouched by war or greed. Rivers ran clean. Trees bent gently in the breeze. Strange blue birds sang from the branches. Tarn built a home with his hands. Lena planted flowers in the garden. Rian, now a few months old, laughed in the sunlight. His eyes sparkled with wonder. Sometimes visitors came, scientists, explorers, even children from nearby settlements. They brought gifts, asked questions, and listened to stories. But Tarn and Lena kept their life simple. They didn't want fame, only peace. One evening, as the sky turned orange, Lena sat on the porch, watching Rian crawl through the grass. "Do you ever miss the stars?" she asked Tarn, who was fixing a solar panel nearby. "I still look at them every night," he said, smiling, "but I don't miss chasing them." Lena smiled. "Good." As the wind carried the sweet scent of flowers, Tarn sat beside her. "He's going to change the world," he said quietly. Lena nodded. "Yes, but not yet. First, he'll learn to walk." They both laughed. Above them, the stars shimmered gently. Far from the noise of old Earth and the chaos of deep space. A child was growing, a child born of hope, of kindness, and of second chances, and the universe was watching. The vault was quiet, almost like it was holding its breath. Lena lay on a soft bed formed by glowing panels. Her face was pale, but calm. A gentle light above her head changed colors slowly, reacting to her heartbeat. Tarn knelt beside her, holding her hand tightly. "It's starting," she whispered. Tarn nodded. He looked around, then tapped on the console beside the bed. Instantly, small machines appeared, smooth silver arms with soft tips. They hovered in the air, scanning Lena gently, checking her and the baby. "You don't need to be afraid," he said softly. "This vault was made for healing. It knows how to help." Lena looked at him with tired but trusting eyes. "Stay close. I won't leave you." Hours passed slowly. The storm outside had faded, but its effect still hung. In the air, the colony was damaged. Power was low. But here, in the hidden vault, a new life was preparing to enter the world. And finally, with a soft cry that echoed like a song, the baby was born. A boy, tiny, warm, and strong. Lena held him close, tears in her eyes. "He's beautiful," Tarn watched in silence for a moment, his heart full of something he hadn't felt in a long time, peace. "He's more than beautiful," he said. "He's rare." Lena looked up. "What do you mean?" Tarn stood and walked to the center. Console. He pressed a few buttons, and a symbol appeared in the air, a glowing circle made of lines and dots. "This," he said, "is a mark given to children of high potential. It only shows when certain patterns match in their blood." "Patterns? From advanced genetics, you mean?" Lena held the baby tighter. "Our child is special?" Tarn nodded. "Very special. He carries something I thought was lost forever." He turned to her. "Lena, there's more you need to know. I didn't tell you everything before." She watched him closely, her expression calm but serious. "I'm listening." "I wasn't just a lost traveler or an explorer," Tarn said. "I was part of something much bigger, a secret mission. Called Project Halo. What was it? Long ago, when Earth still dreamed of reaching new galaxies, a group of scientists, thinkers, and builders came together. We were chosen to lead humanity's next steps. We were trained, enhanced, and sent far into deep space to prepare safe zones for the future." He paused, as if remembering something painful. "But when the accident happened, the gate collapsed. I was the only one pulled into the time rift. I crashed here. I lost contact. I lost my team. I lost everything." Lena looked at him with new understanding. "You were never a beggar." Tarn shook his head. "No, I was a star architect, one of only 10 ever created." "Why didn't you say anything before?" "Because I forgot," he said quietly. "And when I remembered, I was afraid no one would believe me. Until I met you." Lena held the baby close, feeling his small heartbeat against hers. "What does it mean for him?" she asked. "It means he has the potential to connect both worlds, the old and the new, the forgotten and the future. His mind will grow faster. He will understand things others don't. But more importantly," Tarn knelt beside them, placing his hand on the baby's tiny back. "He was born from love, not design. That makes him stronger than anything I've ever seen." Lena smiled. "Then we'll raise him together." Tarn nodded, his voice soft. "Yes, but others will come. When they see the storm, the readings, the energy released, they'll come to investigate. Scientists, soldiers, people from the Accord." "What will they do if they find us?" Tarn stood again, tapping the console. A hologram appeared, a map of the galaxy, with several blinking points of light. "They'll want to study the child. Maybe even take him away." Lena sat up, alarm in her voice. "No, I won't let that happen." Tarn looked at her. "They won't, as long as I'm here, but we have to be ready." Just then, a soft sound came from the vault's walls. A chime. A signal. Tarn moved to check it. His eyes widened. What is it? Lena asked. They're already here. The screen showed a ship, large, bright, and smooth like a silver arrow. It hovered above the colony ruins. The emblem on its side was clear, a golden sun inside a ring. The Accord? Lena asked. Tarn nodded. They found the signal the storm gave off. The vault woke up, and its systems broadcasted energy older than anything the galaxy has seen in 100 years. Of course they came. What do we do now? Tarn thought for a moment. Then he turned to her with calm eyes. We meet them. Together. Later that day, the ship landed near the broken colony center. A few remaining survivors, including Dr. Kellen and Mari, stood nearby, shielding their eyes from the ship's light. From the ship, a team stepped out, men and women in white suits marked with the Accord symbol. One of them, older and sharp-eyed, walked forward. He stopped when he saw Tarn. It can't be, he whispered. Tarn Velen? Tarn gave a slight smile. In the flesh, you were declared lost. A hero missing forever. I found my way back. The officer turned to Lena, who held the baby tightly. And this? Tarn answered. My son. A child born of two worlds. The officer stepped closer, but Tarn blocked him. We're not here to be studied. We've seen what happens when science forgets about people. The man hesitated, then slowly nodded. Then come with us. We can offer safety. A home, not as subjects, but as family. Tarn looked at Lena. She gave a small nod. Together, they stepped toward the ship, not as outcasts, but as a family ready to begin something new. The boy in Lena's arms opened his eyes for the first time, and the stars, far above, seemed to shine just a little brighter.